Hello and welcome to a super special Wise Wire this morning. I am joined by a really good friend, Lissa Griffiths, who I've known for a number of years, and she has brought George from Football Without Borders in Kenya. And so we are going to talk about period pants. We are going to talk about empowering women, and we are going to talk about how you can help support and improve sanitation for these girls. But as usual, the Wise Wire is not about me. It is all about my guests, particularly today. It is about my guests. So, Lissa, I'm going to come to you first, and then I'm going to come to George. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Lissa Griffiths, and I am the Director of Supporting Girls Football. I am a female youth football advisor and advocate, and connected with George on LinkedIn and was inspired by the work he did with girls within his community, and I've just come back from Kenya where I visited his projects.
Awesome. We'll come on to that in a bit more, and also about how you are and why actually you're so keen on supporting women and particularly girls in football. But George, your story is powerful. I mean, I don't know many men who would go out there and period pants. So could you explain a little bit about where you come from, a bit about why and your experience with football, and then why you got into period pants? That would be really helpful.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is George Osaya. I'm from Kenya. I'm the director of Football Without Borders Kenya. In Football Without Borders Kenya, we do sports to empower youth, to bring youth together, to mobilize them. Then after that, we engage them into different activities that we are running in the community. All the activities that we are doing goes with what the community are in need of. So we look on the area where these people are in need of, like the agribusiness. That is the main part that we are focused on, so that we can bring we can bring poverty out. Like they can have food security. We can do what we call the hygiene management through food security. Because if they have good food, they have good health. That is what we normally say. So it is readily available material, which is land. So the only thing that Football Without Borders is giving them is knowledge, so that they can do the agribusiness in a good way, so that can improve their sustainability. So with girls, everything that is done in the community always inspire people, but in a different way. So it depends with how it inspires you. Like me, I'm being inspired with empowering women, because I want to feel what women are feeling. That is when you will know what women are doing in the community, how you can live with them, how you can educate them, how you can give them some of the important ideas they need to move on. If you are not part of them, then you will not feel the pain that they are going through. So that is what inspired me so much. In 2012, I went to Rwanda in a leadership program, and I got the skills on how I can interact with women, because by then I was young and I was trying to say, like, women are not supposed to do this, women are not supposed to do that. So again, I got the influence to apply for the United Nations program in Sweden. I went there and I was inspired with Football the Foster, whereby they are dealing purely with women. I got the influence on how I can interact with men also there, because they enlightened me. They told me what I should be doing with women and how I should be doing a lot of things with their menstruation cycle. So in 2016, I got the first course with them on women empowerment. Then 2017, I said, yes, I want to do this, because it was more of influence. And I was educated on how I can do these things with women in the community. So I started to feel like I'm a woman, though I didn't have breasts. So it was like, yes, I want to feel it. I want to know how women are doing. So I started a program of female empowerment through sports, educating women and in hygiene management, water sanitation and hygiene, health. I wanted to cover everything, reproductive health, know the cycle, how they feel, the kind of cramps, the regular, the irregular, something like that. So in 2019, the MIT students from USA came on, and I said I want to take this course, and that is when I started learning more about reproductive and how you can make reusable sanitary towels. And then I got more ideas, and I started implementing it in Football Without Borders. So I gathered girls, and then we started unstitching. So we add the polythene papers, we add the absorbent materials, which are just their clothes. Then we have the less absorbent, which again is the bathroom. So it becomes more complicated because when we were doing this, I saw like there are still a lot of changes. I like doing research by myself, not reading the research. I like doing research by myself. So I went to each and every person. I wanted to ask more about how they feel about this reusable sanitary towels that we are doing. And then they said, oh, it's still there's still leakage onto this reusable sanitary towels that we are doing. Then I said, I need to advance it. So I started asking friends if they can donate sewing machine. Then I started improving myself to have Macintosh. I think you know the Macintosh, where the one that we put in the beds for our kids not to pee, to pee in our beds. So I started using Macintosh, so that at least we can prevent the leakage of blood, because it is dangerous. Girls, they feel like if this is happening to them, they feel shy, they feel shame, but they don't know the importance of menstruation. Why is it important for them? They are fertile at that point. So they should know that it is important for them to have the menstruation cycle for them. If they are not experiencing it, that it is a bigger challenge to them. So they still feel proud of it. So I started gathering information from different people in the community. Mostly I wanted to work with elders so that I should know how to break the myths and the beliefs that they have in the community. And I found myself interacting and saying that girls should not cook when they're in their menstruation. Girls should not do this. And I asked them, no, we are in our generation. That was back then in maybe 2019, 2020, 2010, 20, something like that, or maybe centuries. We should not bring it in 2023 or 2024 or something like that. So I told them I want to come up with something that will help the community. And then these people should be the followers. They should not be leaders. It is not important for them to be leaders. They should follow what others are doing, then implement whatever that they feel they can do. So I started to influence men as well to get involved into this. And that is when we interact with different schools, or to find the young teenage who are feeling that this is not right, so that we can educate them to know more about what female are going through, and then female as well should know what men are going through. So these are interchange program whereby they need to learn from each other. I saw it like it's a practical. Women are playing football. Football now for women is improving. Why should we not learn more about women and give them the first priority on what they should be doing? So that is how I was influenced, and I found someone called Lissa. She was so much into me and doing things together. I really enjoyed so much, and I feel like yes, Lissa is doing something that I need to do, like sports for girls. And I said yes, this is what we need to do. The world should know that the importance of sports for girls, sport supporting girls through football. You know, it was like a miracle to me. And I said, Liz, can we do this together? And then Liz came over, saw the program, how we do it, because we are each and every program that we are doing in the community, we must implement life skills training. You know, so that we are not focused on playing football for competitive, something like that. We are focused on educating young girls and young boys in the community. So each and every program that we are doing, we must take like 10 minutes to educate them on what they should be learning. So through that, we have what we call Kick for a Better Life concept, whereby it has been driven to give the training so easy for these girls to learn. And Lisa went through this. She shows how we do the program in the classes, how we take them out of class, then to the field, then out of field, then we have the discussion, whereby now they get the clear information. And that is how we break the myths and the beliefs in the community. So, Lisa, thank you so much for opening up and coming to join us. Thank you.
So, Lissa, I'm wondering if you could explain what it was like to arrive in Kenya, because when I knew you, you were very much talking about what it was like for girls on their menstruating, trying to do sport. Now, I was an ex-dancer, and I know what it was like for me to try and dance on those days. But I know that you were really campaigning about it. So I'm wondering if you can explain what it was like with your experience to arrive in Kenya and to see everything with fresh eyes.
Well, my focus on periods specifically really began with my own experience and my daughter's experience of accessing education, accessing sport. And I carried out my individual research, and I felt that attitudes to periods, barriers hadn't changed since, haven't changed really. There's been so much research that's been carried out in regards to what needs to be done to remove barriers, to remove stigma, to remove, myths. But nothing, it hasn't really moved forward. So when, for instance, boys and girls are still taught separately in the UK generally about menstruation. So when I learned more about what George was doing, I thought that this was actually really sort of something special, and something that should be carried out worldwide. It's everybody's responsibility, and we need male allies on board like George to help break down those myths and those barriers. So when I went to Kenya, and when I went to the Football Without Borders tournament. They'd got a football tournament going on. Well, Football Without Borders doesn't tend to promote competition. They use it as a tool to engage young people. So George's philosophy is that, through football, you gain life skills, and then that then builds to educational programs. So I saw boys and girls playing together, mixed teams, girls and boys of all ages playing. I saw girls watching boys, cheering them on. I saw boys supporting girls. And it was how I feel it should always be. There was no sort of divide between boys and girls. It was just mixed, and it was accepted. And I know George has worked really hard to break those barriers down. So that's amazing. It was amazing to see. It was like, this is just like I've to this. Amazing. This is how it should be. This is like a benchmark really for football. And then went into the classroom areas where they did the workshops, and I was just so impressed with how engaged the children were, the young people were, how open the girls were to talk about their experiences, how open George and his team, because George has got many volunteers that work with him as well, who are incredible. And it wasn't just sort of menstruation, it was, and making the period pants, which are like amazing. He does other things like gender-based violence, removing sort of stereotypes. He does all aspects of like sexual health. It's a very intense program, but wide as well. It's teaching life skills in addition to the agricultural things that the projects, which also teach employability skills. So I was really pleasantly surprised. I went with I don't think I went with any prejudgment, but I think everybody makes a judgment about how or what they might experience, but I felt that I'd come to this. Yeah, it was just something that was beyond what I'd ever experienced in terms of gender equality.
Thank you. That's really, really powerful. And I know that you're now desperate. Well, you're not desperate. That's not fair. But you are raising money right now for a sanitation block. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, one of the schools George took me to, which the children are an absolute testament to the teachers. The teachers are amazing. They showed us around, and it had such a lovely environment, such a lovely feel to it. Great environment, beautiful surroundings, excellent teachers, excellent projects. George also delivers his projects there. And then I was being shown around, and I saw it was like a shed in the distance, and I asked what it was, and the head teacher was really reluctant to show me. I think he felt a little bit embarrassed, but I said, I want to see it, because this is something that maybe I could quite easily change or and I went to see it, and yeah, it was just health and safety, with the corrugated iron, the smell, it was just like temporary, and the head teachers explained to me and said that it's a temporary structure because they did receive a grant from the local government to provide new toilets, but the toilet block was actually built in a floodplain. So the foundations, it obviously collapsed within months, because the rainy season in Kenya, because the water's going off the dry land, it just pools, and then it just soaks through. So the foundations crumbled. So the school contacted the contractors. The contractors didn't accept responsibility, and the government won't provide any more money, because in their mind they have paid, and that is the responsibility of the contractors. So impact of not having appropriate sanitation in Kenya, you have to pay for healthcare and education. So most of the parents are paying for girls to access education. If you think about pre-existing sort of old-fashioned beliefs, or about a woman's purpose or a woman's place as well, that's an additional sort of barrier. Then the standard of the toilets, the standard of the sanitation causes disease, which causes children to be off school. And then also, when periods start, they really can't sort of cope in that sort of environment, really. So already there are so many existing barriers for girls to access education and sport, and then on top of that you have the inadequate sanitation, and which causes problems in itself, and so I felt that we needed to do something. I really felt that it was something that I could sort of really focus on and work with. So I developed a can I plug my
Of course you can.
I developed a campaign which will coincide with the Women's World Cup, and it's for pubs and hospitality and the hospitality industry to place one of my posters on the back of a toilet door, and I called it "Are You Sitting Comfortably?" because I think it relates really well. Also, I suggested that, you know, while women and men are in pubs watching the women's football, that maybe they would like to donate their next drink to help support the rebuild of the sanitation block. So you can download that poster at my website, which is below. So hopefully we will be able to go and help to, you know, increase the number of girls in education and sport, and for them to gain the many benefits that George provides through football. So yeah.
I want to come to George for a minute. George, I believe you, not only do you empower women, not only do you educate men, the boys and the girls, you're bringing the community together, but I also believe you supply sewing machines. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a very nice question because it goes wide. It's embracing and it's bring people together. Like now we are together, you know, sharing information. It's very important. And then I think the most important thing is what you're doing. And then the way Liz was speaking, that is it. That is what Liz was. Because you know everything that we are doing under reusable sanitizers and period panties, it is all about health, you know. And then we are partnering with 25 schools now. If we are partnering with these 20 schools now, and then it is only football without borders, you know. We want to bring people on board so that they can bring out the skills that we are lacking. Then it can again enlighten and bring a lot of changes onto this. And that is, I think, why Liz is very impressed with what she shows and what she is about to do. You know, in fact, we were not happy to bring Liz onto the latrine because it was for girls, and the one that we built for girls collapsed, and we felt like, this is very embarrassing, So, but Liz got the interest that I want to see it. I want to see how this looks like. It is passion. I think this is love for what you're doing, and this is what is driving me to do this. So the string machines that we are requesting always every time, we still have 19 string machines, and that is why we are not doing all programs, in all the schools. The program that we are doing, that I'm sure that we are doing in all the 25 schools, is agribusiness. And then we only do the life skill training, just like Liz mentioned. So it means that we lack swing machines. And remember, we are working with 200 girls and maybe 50 boys. But we wanted to increase the number of boys. So that is 250 participants in each school with one swing machine. It becomes so difficult. But what I'm proud of is to give the information. If you deliver the information, you create awareness on what you feel. Like me, I'm feeling it. I have the passion in doing it. So I always narrate my things and do according to what I should be doing. So anybody who is seeing the link rolling down there should definitely support what Liz is coming up with. Because I went back like 2 weeks ago, I shared this with Liz and I was crying. I went to another school outside my county and I saw this and I felt like, no, this is not good when I'm speaking about empowering women. 14-year girls, are pregnant, they have children. It is so painful to see a child carrying a child and going to school with no water, no latrine. How do they change their sanitary pads? How do they do that? And then if we are working so hard to break the myths and beliefs, then we should increase the health facilities in the schools. That is when these girls will feel like, yes, I need to change my panty after a period panty. I need to change my reusable sanitary pads after this duration. Because now they sit with it until lunchtime, lunch break. That is when they run to their homes. It is not health-wise for them. It is not healthy. Even if you gossip health each and every time, it is not healthy for them. They are afraid of removing this and keep it somewhere, because they don't have these health facilities. They don't have good latrine, good toilets, everything. They don't have them. It is totally lacking. And when Football Without Borders is coming up, we only train them on what is needed on hygiene, how they need to wash their things, how they need to keep themselves. But if this school doesn't have these facilities, then it is like we are doing nothing. We are not breaking the myth and beliefs. And if anybody is supporting what Lisa is doing, then you will see the percentage of these girls increasing in school. Their performance as well has increased. I think, me personally, I've seen this. I've seen the number of girls increasing from 10% to 70% in school. I normally go to school and check the register, how they normally come to school, how their performance is in class. You find that this thing is really helping them. And if we can put more effort and all out together, it is all about passion. It is all about what you feel. You don't give because you want to give, but you give because it helps someone out there. That is what I believe in. And if I came up as a man to discuss about women, it means that I'm feeling something about women. And this encouraged me so much so that we can, because without women, I think we are not there. They carried us for 9 months. They feel the pain and they continue feeling the pain of cramps. This is something that we should honor. This is something that all men around there, all men who are watching us, speaking out now, they should learn what a woman sleeping close to him, is feeling. So I think if they are feeling what I'm feeling, then they should have passion. They should love what they want to do. So we still lack swim machine. Yes, I will say that. But we lack them giving us support. So thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for sharing your stories. Lissa, yes, of course, you don't have to put your hand up. You can just speak through.
I just wanted to add, because in the past, organisations and charities have provided schools with disposable sanitary towels, which meets the need temporarily and is not sustainable, because sanitary towels in Kenya, disposable ones, are very expensive. And it encourages as well, because they are limited, like George was saying, girls are using them for an extended length of time, they're reusing them, it's not good, and it's not good for the environment, for landfill, which I know that George is really passionate about with his agricultural work and sustainability. So I just wanted to add, because I think it's important, that the reusable sanitary towels and reusable and period pants are actually supporting the environment. They are not giving girls false hope. They are actually something that they will be able to wear and be able to pass once they've learned how to make them. They can then pass those skills on to generations and onto the next generation, and then it becomes a sustainable solution as opposed to something that is like a sticking plaster, basically. Something that solves the problem initially, but then what happens when they leave school, or what happens when they leave that organisation? This actually promotes, as I say, sustainability, sustainable management of menstruation.
And of course, it helps so much more than that, because it's the emotional state as well, and that cannot ever be. You can't. There's not enough words to say. I mean, even as a woman in the UK, there have been points where I've had leakage and I've been shamed. I've been out and about, but I'm in the UK and I can do something about it. I was still laughed at. I was ridiculed, particularly when I was like 14 or 15, and I was embarrassed and shamed. for a girl in Kenya, it's far, far worse. I'm going to move to some of the comments because we've had somebody say this is a fantastic topic. So thank you, both of you, for joining me this morning. Kevin has joined you and said, so proud of you guys, and so he should be. Annette has said, I'm so impressed with what I'm hearing and I love it. So if you can go into the comments at the end of this and comment on it, I will let you know if you've had any comments on YouTube. If you put your links everywhere, please, please, please. This is such an important subject, which is why I invited George and Lissa onto the Wise Wire this morning. If you wanted to say goodbye, and that will be it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, or me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.